Hi, I'm John Boote, founder and managing director of Recruitment. I've pretty much stayed out of the spotlight until now. For the last 8 years, I've been more comfortable getting on with the work, building Rag, sitting on the phone, talking to candidates, managers, everyone in ag recruitment, and trying to build something useful for an industry I've spent my life in. I didn't feel the need to be the bloke out the front, but the word on the street has become too clear to ignore. What we're hearing across agriculture at the moment is not just a recruitment problem, it is a people problem, a structure problem, a communication problem. And if businesses ignore it for too long, it becomes a margin problem, a burnout problem, and in some cases, a very serious human problem. We're hearing about burnout, depression, anxiety far too often, and at the worst end, rural communities are still losing people. That cannot be treated as a background noise. That is the part of why I'm putting my name behind this more publicly now. When I started Rag, after a hands-on career in ag, plenty of people told me not to do it. I was told it would fail. I was told agricultural recruitment was too hard. I was told there was already heaps of people doing this and the industry did not need another one. I called bullshit on that. The industry needed one that could walk the walk, call a spade, and actually care about the people, the process, and bettering this amazing industry with knowledge that, in most cases, people did not want to hear, but they needed to hear. I was told in different ways to stay in my lane. They were wrong. Rag is now one of the most recognised ag recruitment businesses in Australia, with thousands of clients and candidates across the country. There's been nothing easy in building this business. There's been plenty of blood, sweat and tears. I've turned grey much quicker than I probably should have. I've spent most of my waking hours on the phone working with my beautiful staff and listening to what is really happening on the ground. Rag was built because agriculture needed something better. And the more conversations we have, the clearer it becomes that recruitment is only one piece to that puzzle. Anyone can skill match on paper. The harder part is understanding the person, the business, the manager, the expectations, the culture and the environment they are walking into. That is where a lot of the problems can start. Right now, there is a lot of pain sitting between owners, managers and staff. Farm owners are under real commercial pressure. Margins are getting tighter. The cost of doing business is getting bigger. Production systems are being pushed harder because, in many cases, they have to be. And managers are often the meat in the sandwich. They are being asked to lift production, lift profit margins, manage risk, carry responsibility and do more with much less. At the same time, labour units are being reduced or stretched, and the staff capability available to them is not always where it was 10, 15 or 20 years ago. Then they are expected to perform against benchmarking data, reports and analysis that often do not fit the speed and reality of the current agricultural landscape. This is not sustainable. You cannot keep squeezing people harder and then act surprised when it all starts to fall apart. On the other side, younger staff and farm employees are telling us that they often do not feel mentored, included or properly looked after. They do not always feel that they can approach their superiors. They do not always understand the overall picture of the business. They are asked to care about outcomes they have never had explained to them properly. That gap creates frustration on both sides. The manager thinks the staff member doesn't care. The staff member thinks the manager doesn't give a shit. The owner sees production pressure and cost pressure mounting. And somewhere in the middle, communication breaks down. Communication. It's as simple as that. It sounds basic because it is basic. But basic does not mean easy, and it definitely does not mean it is being done well at the moment. A lot of the issues we see are not solved by simply finding another worker. They are solved by better structure, clearer expectations, stronger leadership, better onboarding, and managers who are prepared to work beside people rather than above them. That does not mean dropping standards. It means building capability. It means explaining the why. It means giving good people a chance to understand the business, not just treating them as another labour unit. One of the more frustrating things we see is information hoarding. I'll call it what it is. It is a sick state of affairs when someone feels so threatened by capable staff that they withhold information to retain power. That happens more than people want to admit. Instead of mentoring, they gatekeep. Instead of building the next layer underneath them, they keep people dependent. That might protect a title in the short term, but it damages the business and it damages the people involved in that business. The future of ag cannot be built on fear and poor communication. It has to be built on structure, proper leadership, trust, standards, and honest conversations about what is actually happening inside farm businesses. At Drover Ag, we are not your bog standard recruitment agency. We never have been one. We are from the land and we talk the language. We hear from every side of the fence, the young person trying to get a start, the experienced farmhand who is fed up, the middle manager who is reeling, and the senior manager trying to hold the place together, and the owner trying to keep the business profitable. That gives us a pretty unique view of the cracks, and right now the cracks are obvious. The industry cannot keep treating leadership, communication, culture and people management as soft or taboo subjects. They are not soft, they are commercial. If production relies on people, then people management is production. A farm can have the best gear, the best genetics, the best country, the best machinery and the best systems in the world. But if the people inside that business are confused, burnt out, poorly led or afraid to speak up, performance will suffer greatly. This is the conversation I want to keep pushing. I'm not wanting to throw stones, blame the owners, blame the managers, nor blame the staff. Because the truth is, every side has pressure and every side has responsibility. But we must be honest about it. I used to worry about the keyboard warriors and the naysayers by doing anything on social media, and I don't give a shit about that anymore. The message coming from the market is far too strong. The pain is too obvious and real. The opportunities to do better are far too important. This is the first cab off the rank for me. I will be putting more of my voice into the market because Drover Ag has spent 8 years building a knowledge bank around what is actually happening in agricultural employment, leadership, culture and recruitment. This is not theory for us. It is what we hear every week. Good people still need structure. Good businesses still need honest conversations. And agriculture, for all its phenomenal people and resilience, needs to stop pretending that people problems are somehow separate from production problems. They are not. That is where the next chapter needs to go. And that is where Drover Ag intends to keep heading.